Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to a brand new Division video. What if I guess today is something a little bit different. So as you guys know, Christmas is coming up, and for Christmas a lot of players are going to be buying or receiving games that they haven't really played before, and in my opinion a lot of people are going to be receiving the Division for Christmas or maybe their birthdays that are coming up soon. So today I decided to make a video talking about the best PvE weapon talents in patch 1.5. Now don't get me wrong, most of these weapon talents are going to be good throughout all the patches that come out soon in the game. It's not only 1.5, they were good in 1.4, 1.3, and in my opinion they're still going to be really good in the future. So today we'll be going over 5 weapon talents you definitely want on your weapons if you're going to be grinding PvE a lot. It doesn't really matter if you're playing incursions, underground, farming missions for gear or something like that. These are some of the weapon talents you definitely want to be on the lookout if you are brand new to the game. But without further ado, if you guys do enjoy the video or find it helpful, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and let's get right into these talents. One really quick thing I want to say before I continue the video is keep in mind most of these weapon talents are for PvE. Now don't get me wrong, you can definitely use these talents in PvP, but these are specific PvE weapon talents that I'm going to go over. And also the weapon talents I am going to be listing are not in order, so I'm not saying this one's better than the other one. I'm just saying these are some of the weapon talents you want to be on the lookout whenever you get a weapon. Coming up first, we have one of the most valuable weapon talents in the game, and that is Destructive. Now Destructive is one of those weapon talents you want on anything and everything you use in the game. If it's an assault rifle, submachine gun, marksman rifle, whatever it is, Destructive is really good because you guys know the NPCs are a little bit easier to kill in 1.5, but they still have a pretty tough shield, or I guess you could say armor, that you still have to shred through. So Destructive with a assault rifle will just shred through the enemy armor instantly. If you manage to acquire yourself a assault rifle with around 20% enemy armor damage, and you also get Destructive on your weapon, which is 15% armor damage, that in total is 35% armor damage just from the assault rifle and having Destructive on your weapon. Coming up next, we have Deadly. Now Deadly is a very simple weapon talent. Pretty much the critical hit damage is increased by 15%. Now in the past it was way better. Pretty much Deadly was one of the key weapon talents you always wanted. It's still really good in 1.5, it's just not as good anymore. So Deadly is another weapon talent I would strongly recommend you get on your weapons. Moving on to the third one, we have Responsive. Now Responsive is a really great weapon talent for PvE and PvP. Like I said, you can use this for submachine guns, ARs, and it's especially really good on weapons you have to use at a further distance. Something like a MP7 or a LVOA. Responsive is really great on it because obviously you're going to be really close to the enemies, so whenever you're close, you're going to be getting 10% extra damage when you are closer than 10 meters from the target. The next talent I had to put on this list was Competent. Now Competent is one of those weapon talents I really never used previously. In 1.5 I absolutely love this because pretty much how it works is weapon damage is increased by 10% for 15 seconds after using a skill. So anytime you use your first aid or pulse, or if you have a flashbang or something, your sticky bomb, whatever, you will get 10% extra damage every time for 15 seconds, which once again is very good in PvE because you guys know that you pretty much use your first aid every single second. So whenever you use it, you're going to be receiving 10% extra damage, which is really good. Last but not least, we have one of the weapon talents that I personally love in 1.5 the most, and that is Ferocious. Now I know what some of you guys are saying, why not Brutal, why not anything else, why Ferocious? Well, the reason I say Ferocious is because most of the bosses and most of the enemies that you play in PvE that are really hard to kill sometimes are elites, and pretty much what Ferocious does is damage against elites and named enemies is increased by 10%. So like I said, the purples and any other enemy in the game is pretty easy to kill. It's not like it's 1.3 where every enemy is really hard to take down. In 1.5 the elites and the named NPCs are probably the most difficult ones. So like I said, Ferocious on any gun is really good, especially if you have it on like a LMG or a assault rifle. You can most definitely use this for PvP, but in my opinion, I wouldn't really use it. I would go with something like Brutal or maybe like Unforgiving or anything like that. But that's pretty much why I chose Ferocious, is because like I said, most of the NPCs you kill in PvE, the hardest ones are named or elites one, so why not have 10% extra damage against them with this weapon talent. But that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are brand new to the channel, these are some of the weapon talents you definitely want to be on the lookout. If you have a weapon with about 2 out of 3 of these weapon talents I did mention in the video, make sure you keep that weapon, make sure you reroll the third one, and try to get yourself a god roll weapon. But once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.